Jamie and Lucas. Today it's a Two Idiots podcast, which is still makes it the tip.
The tip, yeah. So we don't really have to change titles or anything.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
I can't wait till it's the OIP.
The OIP.
One of us can't do it.
1 minute show. It's just gonna be us.
Just some guy standing there.
The OIP.
OIP. This is the OIP.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be awesome. Okay,
or the
Lucas.
flop.
All right, introduce us while I go get me some more Dr. Pepper.
Okay. So yeah, we are going to be talking about,
Old
I guess, relative.
cartoon channels.
Yeah, basically old kids channels that were good but aren't anymore. Like I know that makes us sound like every other teenage kid. Like, oh yeah, all the old stuff was good, but
Hashtag 90s kid.
hashtag 90s kid. Yeah, but it's pretty much
cartoons.
true. Like it's for real, pretty much true.
90s had a really early 2000s, late 90s had a lot of cool cartoons.
Yeah, like before. Back in 2008 is whenever people started saying like, oh yeah, these shows are so terrible. Like nobody liked Total Drama Island for some reason. I fucking love Total Drama Island.
I didn't like it at all.
I loved it. I don't love it anymore, but I loved it.
I never liked it.
And it was like Total Drama Island was awesome, and then there was like Total Drama
Action,
which was cool, but I only watched like half of that. And then there was Total Drama World Tour or something like that. I didn't watch any of that. I think there's another one now.
Yeah, there is, dude. I'm
But-
pretty sure.
I don't know. Oh yeah, there was Total
Canadians.
Drama Island.
You said that first.
There was like Total Drama Return to the Island,
Oh.
but I think there's another one after that. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, so that got old, but like everyone was saying it was the Canadian shows that were ruining it.
No, because there wasn't enough Canadian shows on there
Yeah,
compared to. I mean, I'm not saying there
I
wasn't.
like 16s, but that was on Nicktoons originally, or not Nicktoons, Nickelodeon.
Was that on Nickelodeon?
That was on Nickelodeon
It
back in
was?
like 2004 or 6 or something.
Oh, really? I remember seeing advertising for that, but like considering I was like, how old was I? It came out in
16.
I wasn't 16, and like I was, not. That probably didn't interest me. Much like an 11-year-old being probably wouldn't have been interested in regular show at all, because that would have been.
I feel
way
like no
different.
matter what age I am, I could be interested in regular show.
Well, for me, because like for a year or so, like when it aired or whatever, I just hated it. I couldn't stand it.
Why?
I don't know. I just didn't like it. Eventually, like I guess I just had Cartoon Network on, and it was playing like 5 episodes in a row of regular show for some reason.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, I just kept it on for some reason. And the more things,
don't you ever like?
you gotta get a knowledge of certain things, or gotta have it at least.
Yeah.
Because they made it I'll just be listening to it and I'll be like, oh, they made an Army of Darkness joke, or like, oh, they made a joke, like they made a parody of this band that I know or whatever. And then you're like, oh, it's this type of show. Awesome.
It's like it's a referential
Referential show.
referential.
And it's really bizarre sometimes.
Yeah, like the bunch of baby ducks send them to the moon. That's fucking like dark though. Like when you think about it, it's just like bunch of baby ducks send them to the moon. Whenever they got to the moon, those ducks should have been like fucking dead.
Also, do you remember the episode where they explained that Skips is immortal?
Yeah, that was fucking
That
weird.
was weird as hell, dude.
I was like,
they have to take this. You know, I don't know if they did.
I think they explained that Skips was immortal.
Yeah.
But that was like after we had already seen hints that he was already immortal. Like because like before that, I think it might have been before that was the episode where they got the virus on the computer and they called
he's trying to fix it.
Gizmo or whatever his name is.
Is that the one where Skip's trying to fix the computer?
Skips tried to fix the computer with a hammer, and then they were
Skips.
like, "No, Skips, fuck you!" And then so they like went to a Best Buy or whatever, regular show equivalent, regular buy, I guess I don't know, but they went to like a Best Buy or something, and then they were like talking to the tech guy, and he's like, "Yo, Skips, it's me," and then he's like, and it's just like, "Oh yeah, my arm and my eye, they're like new and junk, and I'm like half robot now." But you're the one who made my wood arm, and it's like, oh, I remember you. And then he came to remove the virus, and then like it ended up taking over his body, and then Skips ended up having to smash it with a hammer. Like that's the end of the thing. It's like
fix the problem.
It's kind of the best like ending, but like it hinted at that because like that guy was like hundreds of years old, and so was Skips. So
it was, and I'm pretty sure that episode with the space babies, or whatever the hell those things are.
Yeah, the space babies. I fucking love the space babies.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they made I'm not sure exactly, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they made a reference to Repo Man, one of my favorite movies. Because they get in that car and it glows, and it flies off in this really weird way. That's what happens at the end of Repo Man.
Really?
Yeah, they get into the car with the aliens, and
I don't think I've seen Repo
the car
Man.
just flies off, and the last minute is just them flying around the city, and they're just like, holy shit.
You saying that reminded me of the ending to Elf, whenever actual Santa Claus came and picked up Will Ferrell, and they were flying, and he's like, oh,
yeah, it's but it looks so bizarre because it's green. It's obviously green screened, because 80s or whatever. But say the car is from this angle where you can see some of the bottom, and then the top's over here.
Yeah.
But the background is you're looking at it from above downwards, so it's really weird angles put up top of each other. It looks so trippy. I love that movie.
Love it.
I love it.
I like how if you watch the DVDs of the original cuts of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Continue.
What? Okay. What's wrong with you?
I just spilled soda on it.
Oh, okay.
That's what.
But if you watch the original cuts of DVDs of the original cuts of Star Wars or something like that,
yeah.
You can see the fucking squares where they cut in the TIE fighters and shit.
Yeah.
It'll be space, and then you'll see a different, a slightly different shade of black, and then you just have the TIE fighter pew, pew, pew.
Which is that's why I don't.
It's forgivable since in a cinema back then you wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, and it's those are the kind of things that the special editions did right. Oh, this one you can obviously sell a screen. We're gonna make it look way better.
We're gonna fix it.
Yeah, that looks tight.
But adding rocks. Okay, no, we weren't even talking about this. We were talking about okay.
But adding rocks.
No, Star Wars is a completely different podcast. So, what's wrong with you?
I don't know if
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do know what you're talking about.
When R2-D2's just in that little cave thing, it's just here's another rock. How did he get in there?
Yeah, how did he fit? He's not very flexible.
Yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
So back in the day.
Total Drama Island.
Total Drama Island
is where we started.
Yeah, Total Drama Island. I liked it. Total Drama Action was where I kind of stopped. But overall, I thought it was a good series. And then there was 16s, which I liked for a while. Again, I kind of grew out of that.
I never watched it.
But it's not a bad show. I fucking love Chowder.
I remember Chowder. I remember
Flapjack.
liking it. Okay, here's the thing. I never really watched Chowder.
Yeah.
I fucking love Flapjack. It's so freaky.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so wrong.
Whenever they first had the movie, or what, the first movie, and then they were just oh, and it was just a guy walking and sitting down and standing up, and it's oh my god.
Yeah, I remember. Or the episode where
how did you get him in there?
Where they get to Flapjack, there's the masked comb salesman. And he's trying to get Dr. Barber to buy combs, and he turns around and he's just covered in red. And he's saying that he's eating, and then it cuts down as jelly sandwiches. It's this show is really messed up.
Yeah. I like how Dr. Barber...
Oh god, Dr. Barber freaks me out.
Whenever he gave the haircuts, and he was sweeping it under the floor, it's oh, do you keep the hair to make wigs? And he's no, I feed it to the floor creature. And it's what the fuck is the floor creature?
You'll never know.
And you just see him sweep it in there, and you hear noises, and it's oh my god, that thing could destroy the city.
Dude, I love that show.
Well, I guess they're more like a port town.
Are they?
Really, more than anything, they're more
just a shit.
They're a man-made island.
Yeah, because it's wood, and they're just surrounded by ocean.
I know there's a name for that. I wanted to say barge, but barges are floating, and they're made for garbage or whatever. Not garbage, made for shipping and junk.
What? Well, okay. Well, what? At what point did Cartoon Network or Disney? At what point did you start not even liking the channels or not watching them?
Probably 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I think a lot of people back in 2008 were saying that the shit was going to shit, but I was just no, I like the shows on it, and I agree that it's not as good as it used to be, but it's not terrible. At that point, Disney was already off the table.
Yeah, and Disney Channel just went
Disney. You know what's sad to think about though?
What?
I think Sweet Life on Deck was the start of it. because like there was like Sweet Life on deck, and then they started doing like shitty.
Yeah, because
were teenagers.
If you went before that, like there was like shows that were kind of like teenager goofy or whatever,
and it's like,
but they were
the Sweet Life of Zack
well
and
done.
Cody.
They were targeted to
There was like the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I think Corey in the House was already up, which is kind of like weird and more childish than That's So Raven, but I kind of liked it.
That's So Raven was pretty good.
That's So Raven was freaking amazing. I love that show. What else was there? There was like so many.
There was Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire. Fucking love Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah. Like when I was a little kid, I didn't watch it, but then I like watched an episode or two online, and you're just like, "This is funny."
It's such a girl show.
It's a girl show, but you still
like,
get it.
But like you still like love it. I don't know.
Do you remember Brandy and Mr. Whiskers?
Brandy and Mr. Whiskers was one of those things where like I liked the show, but like eventually I was just like, I fucking hate this show. Like that sounds weird, but like I guess they stopped playing like new episodes and they started playing Brandy and Mr. Whiskers at like 3 a.m. or something like that.
Oh.
And I started watching it at like 3 a.m. every now and then, and I was like, what? This is like terrible. Why did I ever like this?
Really?
It might have just been my 3 a.m. thoughts.
I haven't really rewatched it since I watched it originally.
Dave the Barbarian.
I'm so mad that only got like a season or two.
That got like a season and a half, I think.
And it got canceled. That's a really funny show.
It is really funny. And,
it's like weird. It's like take British absurdist comedy.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Americanized version of that. It's so weird.
You can tell it's American too because like the main character's like got that like the mullet, and he's
mullet.
like a retard, and he's like fat, but
he's like really sensitive.
He's like fat and buff though. He's like fat and buff. He's like fat buff. That's weird to say, but
like he eats a lot, but he's like muscular.
Yeah,
he works out a lot. I'm not sure why,
but he's like sensitive and like dumb, and it's like I couldn't hurt a fly.
And then their mentally challenged pet dragon.
What's the dragon's name?
I don't remember. I remember Lola, the magic sword. She just talked. She was just a.
That's fucking amazing.
She was just a bitch, basically.
That show predicted Skyward Sword with feet.
Shut the fuck up.
No, but
what was the villain's name? Was it Chuckles the evil piggy?
Oh yeah, Chuckles the evil piggy.
Oh my god, I love Chuckles the evil piggy.
I'm Chuckles.
Do you remember the episode where he kidnaps the narrator?
No.
He kidnaps the narrator. It's a 2-part episode. He kidnaps the narrator, and he basically makes it to where he narrates Chuckles winning, and Chuckles wins. And then the second part, like Dave saves the narrator, or the narrator loses his voice.
Oh yeah.
And then Chuckles is like, "Oh crap!" So then all the narrator's like, "Oh, we're not controlled by the story anymore. We can beat you up or whatever." And they beat Chuckles, and they decide to have tryouts for a new voice actor, for a new narrator. Awesome. And they go through a couple of choices, and the one they end up on turns it into a space epic. It's so funny.
That's awesome. Speaking of Dave the Barbarian and space epics, Starbarians. Okay, I know it's off topic, but this is by an awesome animator called Harry Partridge or Happy Harry Cartoons, depending on like if you like. I don't know.
Is that the thing where we're?
But just go look up
we're at a
Starbarians. What?
Or like it cuts to him and he's
we're
just
almost out of meat, and it's just like a freezer full of meat.
Yeah, like having sex at the same time. Yeah,
I fucking love. You can take anything from our planet. What do you want? Money? Or it was like gold, ale, and like women or something like that. And he's like, "We'll take all of it, and then and throw in the princess." And it was like, what?
Oh my god, shit.
Yeah, that was the best. Go watch Starbarians. But yeah,
okay, because like Disney Channel had like a bunch of cool stuff. Like now that I'm older, I appreciate it way more. And then I guess it was with maybe it was with Zack, like Sweet Life. Or
Sweet Life was good.
It
was Sweet Life on deck that was like weird because it was like you could tell that at that point it was aiming towards younger, more girly children.
No, it was aiming at preteens or whatever,
yeah,
the same age group, but it was doing it with like I don't know, with a certain attitude
childish.
That every other Disney Channel cartoon and now even Nickelodeon is doing it with the same sort of attitude, and I hate it. I don't know how to explain it. It's like they're aiming at like maybe early teenagers, preteens, whatever, and they're aiming at them and including really like kind of like stereotypical things of what they would like. in the broadest sort of genre or comedy ever, but they're doing it with like no smartness at all.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain it, but it's
I understand what you're saying.
Oh, it's frustrating to watch.
Like, it's almost like every kid, whenever they're little, it's like, especially kids who, I guess, live in the country, really want to, like, live in New York and be these people who go out and do things, and that's, like, what things are now.
Yeah.
Or, like, they live in L.A. and are, like, go to a school for talented children who want to become famous.
I hate that, yeah.
And that's Victorious. I like Victorious, though.
I don't like it.
I liked it.
I just don't like it.
I liked it. I don't know. It's kind of, like, it's weird at some points and, like, not really...
You know what I never got from, like, these, like, newer Nickelodeon...
Why do I keep snapping? Ariana Grande is fucking hot, though.
Yes. Also, I like her character in that show, that she's obviously mentally challenged, and everyone just kind of knows that she is.
And they accept it.
And they just accept it.
It's almost like she accepts it.
She knows that she's mentally challenged, so she's just like,
oh well.
yeah. But, like, what I hate about, like, what I've realized about, like, these new, like, sort of newish, modern Nickelodeon, Disney Channel shows...
they're always about becoming famous.
That, and when in the hell did these kids who seem to live, like there's a show on Disney Channel called Shake It Up that I hate.
Oh!
And, like, their mom they have a single mom, and she's a police officer. And like, they kind of explain that they're like, oh, they don't live in the best neighborhood. They live, like, in Chicago or something, but not in the best neighborhood. Like, in apartments. But then, like, inside the place, it's, like, the most nicest, most fanciest, like in iCarly, how is it that Spencer manages to pay that giant-ass apartment that has 2 sections to it? It's like, how?
He's an artist, but he doesn't, like, sell his art at all.
He doesn't have a job.
Okay, I used to watch it. I fucking loved iCarly.
iCarly, for about most of its run, was genuinely pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was like, I know that their dad, who was in the Navy, paid for it.
Oh, okay. Well, that
and I think their mom might have been dead, or
that can explain it.
Either their mom was dead, or their mom was also in the Navy. I can't remember.
You know what's a really, like, kind of what I said, but is really good, that does it really good? Show that's aims at, like, sort of preteens, is super broad in its humor, and it's super goofy, like, really cartoony.
But awesome.
Ned's Declassified.
Fucking love Ned's Declassified.
Which is awesome.
That was so based off of, like, the core hatred of children, and that's going to school, and, like, how to survive school.
But the best thing about that is that the more you rewatch it, especially now that you watch it in high school, and for some reason it fits you, and you make more sense of it.
Like, back then, it makes sense.
Like, okay, the setting is in middle school, and he's telling them about tips or whatever, and you're in middle school and you're watching it, but you're like, oh, my school doesn't have this or whatever. You're just kind of watching it to enjoy it, and then when you're in high school, like,
it fits better.
All, like, the plots or whatever, you're like, that's, like, exaggerated situations that actually happen.
Like there's, like, the living food, and it's like, oh yeah, all school food is shitty.
It's just that it's shitty.
And then there's, like, the one bite kid.
Oh, which is just, like, the ultimate
every moocher kid who's like, yeah, dude, I'll pay you back that $1 that you owed, that you let me borrow. And then it's like, dude, I've lent you, like, $1 every day for the past 200 days. Yeah. You owe me a fortune, asshole.
It's one of those things, yeah. I love Ned's Declassified. It's so, you watch it, you're like, it's really cartoony. Like, so over the top, but, like, it does it really good.
It does it well.
It does it so well.
So well. Like, it's weird how, because I really feel like a lot of Disney shows, like, are so, like, I don't want to say hit or miss, because they're all miss.
Yeah.
They attempt to hit, but they're all miss. They always, like, want to be goofy, but also have, like, a behind the scenes, like, or behind the goofy and action love story.
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
And it's a really weird goofy. Where, like, they're aiming for preteens or teenagers, whatever, but they're, like, it's humor. It's the type of goofy that 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds kind of like more.
Yeah, it's... Speaking of which, every time I go over to Alex's house, his little sister, to fucking watching, like, Shake It Up or, like, Dog with a Blog.
I hate
what the fuck is Dog with a Blog?
Here's the thing. Okay, this is the thought that passed by me when I first saw a promo for that show, that when it was new, like, a year or two ago. I was walking by and I saw Dog with a Blog, which is, like, the worst actors ever.
Yeah.
Right? The smarmy, like, smart main character. The older brother who's dumb. The really smart,
that's
evil
every
little
Disney
sister.
Channel show now.
the mom who's like nice but also has like a lot of issues, and then the retarded dad. Now they threw in a dog that could talk, that could speak for some reason, and has a blog. And the thought that passed through me, it's like they've literally gotten every horrible aspect about Disney Channel shows and just they compress it into its very core, and this is that show. And I've watched an episode or two. It is horrible.
I watched an episode or two because I thought, nah, it couldn't be that way. I was fucking wrong.
I was so wrong. I didn't even have any expectations for it. It lowered it below that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's such a horrible show. The premise is really stupid too.
You know what premise is retarded?
No.
Like, okay, I know...
Not with a blog.
Well, yeah. But, like, I know it's like, oh, she's gonna walk, like... Good Luck Charlie is where I'm going, by the way. It's like, I know it's like, oh, she's gonna watch this and, like, she's going to be able to learn from all these experiences that her older sister had whenever blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all of these, like, moments that her sister had are relative to her having a little baby sister. And the only way that this little baby sister is going to need to use these is if their parents decide to fuck at the age of 79.
You know what's really weird?
What?
That's the only show on Disney Channel where I'm like, if this literally could be really funny. Because I've seen a couple episodes, and like each episode is sprinkled with one or two jokes that are really, actually, really well put together.
Yeah.
But it's just such a bland show, I guess.
Yeah.
Would bland be? Yeah. But I think that one has like the best parents. Like that one has like oddly enough, that one has way better characterization than everything else on Disney Channel.
Yeah, I mean like
because their dad is like he's kind of dumb, but he's not really dumb. He's just
it's not the worst characters. What I like about it is they have like a smart guy. You hardly ever see that anymore in Disney shows because it's all about girl power. Fuck you, Disney Channel.
Yeah,
Disney Channel used to like totes be about not.
It was like Disney going like, all right, I know kids like people like movies that we make are family movies, but we specifically want to make something for kids, like specifically only for kids,
specifically only for little girls.
But yeah, now it's turned to that. You know what? Okay, I know this is like a classic example of like channels that have just changed and just gone super down.
Shit.
MTV.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Okay, here's the thing I'm going to say about MTV. I'm pretty sure 95% of all their content on there at this point is just non-watchable. Yeah. Or really dumb. I'm really surprised. Their best show on that channel, and a show that I actually think is really good, is... Have you heard of the show called Awkward?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
It's about like this girl who's just kind of
awkward.
Kind of awkward girl in high school or whatever. And like she has this accident where like she breaks her arm or whatever, and she needs to take painkillers. And she slips in the bathroom and knocks over everything. And like her parents walk in and they think she tried to kill herself. And she's like, no, I didn't try to. It was an accident. And then this whole rumor started how like, oh, she tried to kill herself or whatever. She's weird. And at this point, it's past that. But it's like a really, really smart show.
Every now and then, like it's weird for
coming from MTV. That's really weird.
Yeah, I know. Like it's weird because like MTV has like these really like terrible shows, and then every now and then they have that gem.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like a stupid. It's like kind of like
it's like Degrassi. It's the new Degrassi.
I actually do like Degrassi.
I used to watch Degrassi.
I don't watch it anymore. Actually, I stopped watching last year or 2 years ago.
I don't watch it anymore either. It's kind of like a.
Now I've noticed
it's like a teenage angst show.
Now, yeah.
And I don't really care.
But back then it was just more like stories about because sometimes it'd be like really happy stories about teenagers or just normal everyday situations.
Now, yeah, nowadays Degrassi's just been like
it's a soap opera-ish.
Yeah, it's a teenage soap opera, which is okay for people who like that.
I don't like it. I don't watch it that much anymore. It's not like it's bad or anything. I just
don't.
But it's really fun. Like,
wait, do they still play new episodes?
Yeah, on T-Nick.
T-Nick.
Also, T-Nick.
I
love T-Nick way more now.
I like T-Nick.
Because they have the best live. In my opinion, they show the best live-action Nickelodeon show ever, and that is Drake and Josh.
Oh my god!
Because Drake and Josh is the perfect example of starting off with a mediocre, like, kind of Disney Channel, Disney Channel, and then over the course of time, just got better and better and better.
Yeah, because they like grew older, and it wasn't like the same like teen.
Same
audience. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same like these are a couple of 13-year-old stepbrothers. Yeah. It's like they actually grew, and so did the comedy.
Yeah, it's really weird because you watch some of those and like there's like
watch some of the older episodes and you're like, this is really childish show, and then you like watch the newer ones and you're like, holy shit.
There's probably my favorite episode. There's an episode where they're like delivering a cake to a wedding, and
I was about to say,
and they're stuck on the highway,
and they're just stuck there.
And the whole episode is just built around their dialogue of just being stuck out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
and it is so funny the way it ends with the car catching on fire, and they're just like, oh, fuck. Like this story has no resolution. It just ended.
Yeah, like oh my god.
Oh my god, it's so good.
And Drake and Josh is so good.
Yeah, and then when they had to use it, it used pretty good drama too.
What?
It used pretty good drama too.
No, before that?
I said when they knew how to use drama, like basically they knew how to use it
correctly. Oh, okay. Oh, I the way you said, I don't know. It just sounded good to me. So, yeah, that's
Drake and Josh is really good. And then the two movies they did after, like the two finale movies, were actually really good too.
Oh yeah, the Christmas one, and then there was the
there's Really Big Shrimp, which was like
Real Big Shrimp,
official last
which
episode.
was the official finale, which I think happened like it actually did happen on the final air date. Like it was within the week of the second to last one.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be the final episode, and it was like just an hour-long special.
Yeah.
And
then there was the Christmas, which was actually really good.
Speaking of great finales, but I'll get to it in a minute. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, and then there was the Christmas one, which came like 2 years later.
Yeah,
which like whenever it was announced, everyone was like, "Oh shit, son!"
Yeah. It was like so badass, and he looked and like that show. Okay, and compared to the last season of Drake and Josh, where like it's not like it's like adult humor as in like a bunch of adult things. It's like still kids could watch it and still like there's nothing really wrong with it. But then you watch the Christmas episode, it's much more like adult, like not as in like perverted things or whatever, but like it's just like way less goofy than the other ones.
Yeah, which I like.
Yeah,
it was a good. It was good. It was a good.
It was good. It was a good.
It was a good.
Oh god.
Yeah, but man. Oh yeah, Zoe 101.
I like that show more than I did when I was a kid.
I know, I really like that
I still don't like it that much because it's just not my thing or whatever. But like I watch it and it's like
one of, it's again
this is pretty enjoyable.
Again, it's one of those girly things, but it's like I love this show so much.
It's really good. The characters are pretty. They're pretty. Like they're pretty.
They're pretty.
They're really pretty.
Again, like Barillo, like a lot of those characters are really pretty. Like
it's weird how lots of these shows where they're like, oh, we're freshmen over the course of time, we're growing to seniors, and then you watch like the final season or whatever, and they're like junior, seniors, you're like, oh yeah, and then you go back to the originals, and you're like, oh, we're freshmen, and you're like, no, you're not.
No, you're like,
you look 16, 17. You look really old.
I don't know.
There's some where it's like when they're older, you can like way by it, but then like they're like, oh, I'm a freshman, but it's like, I don't know, something about it just seems really off.
No,
you look
probably because you've seen the finale and you know they're not freshmen anymore.
I don't know.
But maybe. Like, I remember whenever I rewatched Lizzie McGuire, because I always thought, oh yeah, it's about her high school life. She looks like fucking 12 in like the first few episodes.
Really?
Yeah, she looks really young. I remember one of the first like. By the way, the humor on Disney Channel used to be like, it used to be like only cartoons, and it was like childish and cool and all. Shooting some b-ball outside. But anyway, so, and then it got like adultish, and then like Nickelodeon like later like did the same thing with iCarly, sorta. But I remember one of the original episodes of Lizzie McGuire was she wanted to come out to her mom and say that she really wanted a bra.
That's some deep shit.
That is some deep shit because it's like growing up shit.
Yeah, it's real. Okay, here's the thing. Another thing about iCarly. Okay, I say like Drake and Josh, like as it grows up, the humor grows up. But I mean by that is like it's not super goofy or anything like that. It's more built around just like situations or just like
it's situational comedy instead of like slapstick.
Yeah, yeah. And then iCarly is mostly kind of it's kind of a combination of the two. But like iCarly kind of like at least for everyone's or not, but most of the show had like it was more like assuming like we can still target this to like all ages or whatever. But like we know that kids know a lot more than they used to. Like, because I remember the pilot episode was like their teacher was asleep, and they were basically just they were holding up card signs, making a video, making fun of her boobs.
Yeah.
Straight up. Which is like, okay, you do that, you can do that now.
Their teacher wasn't asleep, they were like, they had detention.
Oh yeah, they were interviewing her, right?
No, they had detention.
They were supposed to be making
and they were supposed to be making like a video for like talent show auditions or something.
And they were like making fun of...
And they like ended up being caught on camera making fun of their teacher's boobs. And then, like, that became, like... If you really think about it, their show is basically, like, a podcast, but it's, like, super hyper. and retarded.
See, here's the thing I noticed: the show iCarly is like entertaining or whatever, but like the show that they make within the show would be like
I wouldn't be able to watch it.
No, it seems really annoyingly not funny, but the show is really funny. Hectic.
Yeah, because it's like I feel like a web series like that, I could maybe like watch an episode or two of it and like be like, oh, that was a really funny episode. Yeah. But like if I were to watch that like every week, like every time they streamed it, I'd be like, this is the shittiest show.
And okay, so like with Adventure Time regular show, if those are like really bizarre, just kind of random, throw it in your face.
But that's why it's so good.
Like, but for older, kids like our age and older, iCarly was kind of like that for preteens because it was like kind of like more adult humor or more inappropriate humor.
Yeah,
and it was just more like. You know how when we do this all the time on this podcast, how we'll just start talking about the most retarded random shit ever?
Yeah.
It's basically if someone took that and thought it was funny and they're like, well, teenagers talk about this all the time. Let's turn it into a show.
Yeah.
I always thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And, like you said with Adventure Time, it's like kind of like just in your face, stupid, like funny, awesome stuff. But like, I like how they have, since Finn is the only human, it's almost like stuff happens sometimes and even he's like, wait, what? And like, That's what we found about. That's what we discussed about like with regular show and Adventure Time. Regular show has a lot of bizarre things already set to where it looks like all the characters are like so nonchalant. Like their boss is like walking gumball dispenser, but they're not fazed by it because it's just normal. And then like until something really bizarre happens, something like either extremely bizarre or slightly normal in our world happens, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
With Adventure Time, it's like it's so exaggerated that you just can't like fall into it. Like. The first episode that aired was there's a slumber party with the candy people, which is they just already start you off really weird. No introduction to any of the characters or anything.
Well, that's because the original like pilot was on like YouTube and stuff.
It was on Cartoons.
Cartoons.
But that wasn't really a pilot. That was more like a short.
Yeah.
The actual pilot was the Enchiridion, wasn't it?
I think it was the introduction of the Enchiridion. It wasn't like the Enchiridion itself like there. Yeah. But I think it's like.
Well, like that was the first one that aired, and they start you off in this really weird situation, and then zombie candy people come out, and then at the end of the show, these weird gumball gods come out of the ground. But at that point, you're so numb, and everyone's reaction is already super hyper that you just kind of like don't question it as much.
I don't think that was the first episode.
I remember that was the first episode that aired, though.
That was the first episode you saw, probably, because the first episode, I'm pretty sure the first episode that aired was. The Ice King had trapped a bunch of the princesses.
No, I remember because I remember I watched the summer party one, and then it came with it was the summer party one and the Trouble in Lumpy Space. Those two, I'm pretty sure were the premiere because next week was when we first saw the Ice King. So I don't think they started off with the Ice King. It was just like a couple episodes later.
I know that he's in the pilot.
Yeah, he was in the pilot.
So
the very first one. They did.
I don't know. We'd have to look it up.
Or whatever.
We'd have to look it up. I don't have my phone with me though,
so
that sucks. But
yeah, those are good shows.
Those are good shows.
And then we started talking about so apparently they're bringing back the Powerpuff Girls.
What?
Because yesterday on the Cartoon Network Facebook page, like they posted a picture of their phone, the phone that blinks, and they're like, "Hey guys, make sure you check out the Powerpuff Girls Facebook page for a special announcement tomorrow." And
I'm like, yesterday?
Wait, what? Yeah, that was yesterday. So the announcement was today. And apparently, the original creator, Craig McCracken, is getting with the guy who did the illustration for the Gorillas, and they're rebooting the Powerpuff Girls. Really? But this time they're not in the city of Townsville. Like they're known around the world or whatever.
Oh yeah,
I'm so fucking excited.
Are they like adults now?
No,
or like older?
No, they're still
that age.
They're still little girls.
Oh, that's
weird. It would have been well. Do you remember Dragon Ball? Do you remember Powerpuff Girls Z?
Yeah, that was weird.
That was really weird.
But that wasn't even meant to be like a sequel.
No, that was supposed to be kind of like a Japanese version of it. Basically.
It was just supposed to be like.
It was like take Powerpuff Girls and then combine it with Sailor Moon, and then just someone who makes anime
and combine it with Dragon Ball Z at the same time.
And then have someone that makes anime making fun of anime.
Yeah.
And you got Powerpuff Girls Z. It was a really weird show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it wasn't even like. They're saving the day most of the time. It was mostly like, oh, we're at a slumber party. And like, with the...
Pow!
It's funny because like, it's like, with the anime style, you expect it to be more action-y than the original. But it's just
it's
like, slumber party.
It's not action-y at all. That's what... Oh my god, I love the Powerpuff Girls so much.
I do.
And then we started talking about how... do you remember Hi, Puffy Yummy Yumi.
Hi, Puffy Yummy Yumi, go or show.
Do you remember that shit?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I just sang the Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go theme song, but I sang it with
Monkey Team Hyperforce. That was
Super
also
Robot
badass
Monkey
shit.
Team Hyperforce Go.
Was that an American show or Canadian?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was American. I fucking love Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. Shit, I fucking love that.
That was my shit.
That was my shit.
I really loved it. That was
Who was your favorite?
Gibson.
Gibson?
Chiro and Gibson.
That was the
blue one.
Chiro was
the human.
Yeah.
The boy.
Chiro! No.
I love how they live in like a really cartoony Japanese pop city.
I love how Chiro's voice, which I just realized this, Chiro's voice is Beast Boy's voice.
Which is also... Isn't he the same guy that voiced American Jake Long? American Dragon Jake Long?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no. Okay. Speaking about... Do you remember American Dragon?
Yeah.
Jake Long?
Jake Long was the same guy as Zuko.
Zuko, yeah. Dante Bosco, I think it's...
Dante Bosco, yeah.
Dante Bosco, yeah.
Pretty sure that's his name.
He's
like Hawaiian or something.
Is he? Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't he at...
Or Asian. He might be Filipino.
Oh,
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. Shit. But... Okay, Super Robot Monkey Team Go was like...
Super Robot Monkey Team
Hyperforce Go was like an American version of a manga or anime parody, basically. Sort of. It was so fucking crazy. I love that show. It's so good.
I love that show too.
And then Teen Titans was really awesome.
Oh my god, Teen Titans.
Titans is so good.
Teen Titans Go.
That's why I love... I'm starting to love Boomerang more than Cartoon Network. Cause
I love Boomerang.
I like Cartoon Network for Adventure Time and the regular show.
Adventure Time and regular show both sometimes play on Boomerang.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shit. I don't
like,
know.
it's, like, rare-ish, but it still happens.
But I love Boomerang because, like, it'll show old cartoon, like, I think way early in the morning. I think they'll show, like, Popeyes and Flintstones, like, really early.
Yeah. Well...
And then at night, they start playing old action cartoons from Cartoon Network. Like Teen Titans and Powerpuff Girls and shit.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing. Like, for real.
I love Boomerang.
I love Boomerang, too. Well, I guess that's all there is to discuss right now.
Yeah, so this is it.
We're pulling out. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. No, I don't really care.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, please do.
I mean, sure.
If you like it. Pulling out.
We're taking a long time pulling out.